Chop?
You're ready to start.
We're live.
Okay. We will call to order the meeting of the Haverford Township Zoning Hearing Board of Thursday, May 6, 2021. Present from the township on this call of this meeting are Bill Rhodes, a voting member, Ed McGarvey, a voting member, Jessica Vitale, a voting member, Jesse Clinton, a voting member, our esteemed solicitor, Bill Malone, Esquire, Kelly Kirk, Director of Community Economic Development. I may have given you a little explanation, but I think I got the department correct, Kel. And my name's Robert Kane. I'm the chairman. Before we begin, who wants to lead us in the pledge? Jesse, why don't you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Okay.
Please rise. Pledge. Go ahead, Jesse.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, under God, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And also, before we call our first case, I just want to ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of our beloved Commissioner, Andy Lewis, Fifth Ward Commissioner, who tragically passed prematurely. I personally will miss him dearly. And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to get too upset before we start this hearing. So if anybody else wants to say anything, Andy respected the zoning board, represented his constituents wonderfully, professionally, zealously, and he will be sorely missed by everyone personally and the township residents, in particular the Fifth Ward residents. So let's have just a moment of silence, please, for Andy. Okay, thank you. With that, our first case is case Z21-14, Louis Capano III, owner of 351 Exeter Road, Haverford, PA, DC folio number 2204-0036-100, who seeks a variance from the provisions of section 182727 to reconfigure an existing pool fence, rebuild existing piers, and install a new gate in the 50-foot front yard setback along Exeter Road. The applicant also seeks any other relief necessary for the proposed improvements. Property is zoned R1 and located in the 5th Ward. So, Bill Malone, we have the exhibits, right? You want to identify them before You can't talk? What, do you have a sore throat or are you having a technical problem?
Kelly, is he muted?
Hand signals, there you go.
Bill
Wait a second.
is muted there.
Still not.
All right, there you go, Bill.
There you
got
go.
it now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can hear
I've been trying for about 15 minutes to unmute and Kelly wouldn't let me.
you.
All right,
Yes.
we do have a packet of exhibits that were submitted. Council is present on behalf of the applicant. I'm going to read the exhibits, and Jamie, if you could, just confirm that I've identified these correctly. So A1 is an aerial photograph of 351 Exeter Road and the surrounding lots. A2 is a full site fence layout plan. A3 is a proposed fence layout plan. A4 is the driveway, gate, and fence details. I'm sorry, that was A4. A5 is the photos of the existing improvements and proposed fence location. And A6 is the CV of Charles E. Hess, H-E-S-S Jr. I'll also indicate that I did review the deed and standing is appropriate.
I'm sorry.
Jamie,
Could you tell me who's representing the applicant? I don't have that.
sure, it's Jamie June, Jun,
Thank you.
from Fromhold, Jaffe and Adams.
Thank you.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi,
Jamie,
Okay.
did I correctly identify the exhibits?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Did I
Right.
correctly identify the
you
exhibits you
did.
wish the board to
Yes.
consider?
Yes,
Okay. You want to enter your appearance, Jamie, and then you can just proceed.
okay, Jamie Junn here on behalf of the applicant, Louis Capano III, who is the owner of 351 Exeter Road in Haverford. As was just mentioned, the applicant is seeking a variance from code section 182-727, which prohibits fences in the front yard. Applicant proposes to reconfigure an existing fence, which is already in the front yard, to relocate piers that are actually within the right-of-way, and to install a new gate between the relocated piers. I have one witness tonight, Mr. Chuck Hess, who is the landscape architect for the project, and as just reviewed by the solicitor. I do have some exhibits, and I'll share my screen now, if that would be okay, to kind of
Sure.
briefly go through them, and then Mr. Hess will refer to them in his testimony and provide additional details.
Okay. Go ahead, Jamie.
So this was the exhibit list that the solicitor had just reviewed, and this is the aerial that was mentioned. As you can see, 351 Exeter Road is at the center of Exhibit A1. It shows the existing improvements, which consist of a single-family dwelling, a tennis court, swimming pool, and other related driveway and other improvements. There's also a garage, a detached garage that is located here. It is a irregular shaped lot with frontage, with very wide frontage on two streets, on Gulf House Road as well as Exeter Road. And the existing home, portions of the existing home, portions of the pool, and other improvements are actually currently within the front yard. Exhibit A2 is the overall site plan. Again, it shows the existing improvements. The bold brown dashed line that goes, which the cursor is following right now, is actually the front yard setback line. And as you can see, there are various improvements that are closer to the right of way than the front yard setback line. Exhibit A3 is a close-up that again shows the front yard setback line, as well as the existing pool improvement, the existing fence and hedge. And in red is what we are proposing to relocate and install, which is relocation of the fence, two piers, and a gate. Exhibit A5, I believe, A4, I'm sorry. Exhibit A3 then was the close-up. Exhibit A4 is details about the proposed fence and gate. Exhibit A5 are photos that show the existing improvements. There are also lines that have been strung out and shown within the photos that show the relationship of the proposed fence location to the front yard setback line and other improvements on the lot. Exhibit A7 is Mr. Hess's CV, and those are all of our exhibits.
Okay.
Should I proceed with Mr. Hess?
Yeah. Is he gonna tell us why and what the purpose of this is and everything? It's a,
Yes, he is. So he'll have to be sworn in.
yep. Mr. Hess,
Yes,
Jamie, you want to take the exhibits off the screen unless he's going to have to refer to them?
He is going to refer to them.
Okay. Well, I'll ask, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and the capacity in which you appear for the board this evening, please?
My name is Charles Edward Hess Jr. I'm a registered landscape architect, speaking on behalf of my client, Louis Capano.
Okay. And is he a fact witness or an expert, Jamie?
Both.
You want to qualify him then, if you want his testimony to go in as expert?
Sure. Chuck, I had presented to the board Exhibit A6, which is your CV. Can you briefly describe for the board your professional and educational background?
Sure. Educational background, I've got a master's in landscape architecture from the University of Pennsylvania, graduated in 1991. Been practicing since then. I've been registered since 1996 and I am the principal and owner of the firm Hess Landscape Architects.
And have you provided testimony before this zoning board as well as other zoning hearing boards?
I have, yes. I've been in front of this board before, testimonying for variances in the past, yes.
And would that be sufficient for you, Mr. King?
Sure. Bill, do you have any questions? Bill Malone?
Can you describe for the board what you were asked?
Jamie?
Yeah.
Bill Malone, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you. Can you hear me again
Yes.
now?
Now we can hear you. Go ahead, Bill.
Mr. Hess, can you approximate for me when the last time was you testified before this zoning hearing board?
I believe, I want to say it was about 5 years ago.
Okay, and can you estimate for me the last time you testified before any other zoning hearing board in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania?
Similar, maybe a year less, so maybe say 4 years ago.
During that period of time, has your registration as a landscape architect in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania remained active?
It has.
And have you been censured in any way or reprimanded or anything of that sort?
I have not.
Mr. Kane, I have no questions and see no reason why Mr. Hess should not be permitted to testify as an expert as a registered landscape architect.
Okay, then he shall be, unless there's some objection from any of the other board members or any discussion. And we'll accept Mr. Hess as a registered landscape architect expert. Go ahead, Jamie.
Thank you. Can you please describe for the board what you were asked to do in connection with this project?
Yeah, the client asked for my assistance to reconfigure and work the side yard of the property, which currently has an existing swimming pool and an existing detached garage. If you can go to, I think it was exhibit, 2 more clicks, I believe, Jamie. We'll go back one, sorry. So there, this is the best exhibit to really describe what we're talking about here. And when we came to the project along Exeter Road, you can see that the swimming pool, the existing swimming pool and fencing and all that was there was clearly non-conforming. And the client was looking at options to reconfigure the driveway, which was bisecting the property in line where that current fence is. And on a permit that's currently active, we did move the driveway already to the western property line, the side. And they are looking at ways of trying to better access that area of the property, which currently is limited due to the fence. So we're here to look at that option.
Can you describe for the board the existing site and its unique physical conditions?
Yeah, I mean, the property itself it's got lots of existing conditions. The house, the pool we already mentioned, are all non-conforming. They're inside that 50-foot front yard requirement. Due to the configuration of the street as it kind of swings around, it creates sort of an adverse condition for utilizing that side yard, which we're discussing here. The closest component of the home is actually the front corner of the house on the left side, but you can clearly see that dashed line that cuts through the project on how there's multiple things that are non-conforming in that space.
And just to clarify for the board, again, this brown dash line locates where the front yard setback is on this property, correct?
That is correct.
And this purple line that cuts across through the front yard and to the detached garage, that is the location of the current fence. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is the required pool enclosure fence. That is correct.
And the applicant is now proposing to remove this portion that's shown in purple and then to just relocate it as shown in red along pretty much Exeter Road. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And we had talked about there are existing piers that are actually in the right of way that we're looking to relocate. Can you describe that to the board?
Yeah, there are two existing piers that were, you can't see them on this plan. They're on the other exhibit plan if you wanted to go back one. Let me zoom in. Oh, sorry, one more back. It's the aerial, Jamie.
This one?
There
Okay,
we
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jamie, if you would, when he asked to do that, if you would identify which exhibit we land on,
Yeah.
that would be helpful. So
I will do that. This is
this
now
is
exhibit
A1.
A1.
Mhm. So A1 clearly shows where the existing driveway bisected the property before it had been already permitted and moved. In that image there, if you zoom in, you can see where the two piers were within 10 feet of the existing Exeter Road. And they're the piers that we're describing to be removed. There they are. And being sort of pushed back into the property outside the right of way at the new driveway location.
And when you are referring to the piers, do you mean these sort of darker areas that are shown on either side of the driveway that's near, I guess, the corner of the pool fencing?
That is
exists?
correct. Yeah, there are existing stone piers approximately 5 foot tall.
Can you explain to the board why the variance is required? And I know you've touched upon it a little bit as you've gone through this intro, but could you explain to the board why the variance is required?
I mean, due to the irregular shape of the lot and the siting of the existing improvements and existing nonconformities, the reconfigured fence has been reasonably located to provide, the open space around the swimming pool rather than bisect the western portion of the property.
Will the variance, if granted, alter the essential character of the neighborhood or district in which the property is located, or substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property, or be detrimental to the public welfare?
Now, the proposed improvements are in keeping with the character of the neighborhood and will not be visible from Exeter Road due to the existing hedge. It'll be inside that.
So Chuck, the fence will be inside of the hedge?
That's correct. The current fence that runs along Exeter, along the current hedge is outside. We can look at the exhibit that shows the existing conditions. And we're suggesting, when we reposition this fence to bring it into the property further on the inside of the fence. So from the street vantage point or view, you will not be able to see the fence at all.
Okay.
And this is exhibit A2 that is on the screen now. And there's a note here that says existing 6-foot-high pool fence to remain. And that's showing on the outside of the hedges closest to Exeter Road. But then when we get to the relocated fence, which is shown in red, it's clearly on the other side, on the inside of those row of hedges.
Okay.
And we're talking about the existing conditions and sort of the surrounding neighborhoods, Chuck. And this fence that we're proposing the gate and then a little bit of a fence on the right side of the driveway as you're standing on Exeter Road. And that's designed to then connect to the neighbor's fence. Is that correct?
That is correct. The abutting neighbor has a similar style fence that's actually closer to the street than where we're proposing, but it does wrap their entire property, which we'd be tying into.
And again, as shown on exhibit A2, I'm not sure, I don't think we have a dimension here, but you can see that the neighbor's fence is very, very close to the actual right of way. Is the variance requested the minimum variance that would afford relief and represent the least modification possible of the regulation in issue?
Yes, again, the relocated and reconfigured fence is further away from the right of way than the existing fence. And also the two piers actually are located in the right of way. They're basically going to be relocated out of the right of way.
And those are all of my questions for Mr. Hess.
Okay. Bill Rhodes, do you have questions?
So I'm trying to understand. So the hardship here is that you have an existing non-conforming fence and that it would require, in order to extend it, you have to stay in the right of way. Is that the hardship here?
It is. I mean, it's very unique with the swimming pool, as you see, clearly bisected by the front yard setback. And because the fence that comes along Exeter, the existing fence along the hedge on the outside, is already there. We're required by law to enclose this pool with fencing. So we're kind of stuck in that, you know, we have a safety concern here, and we also have, you know, this existing tall fence. We're trying to, you know, maximize the use of this yard in the best way possible.
So the fence I'm sorry, the pool area is currently fence is indicated on, I think this is A2, is that right?
correct.
Right.
Yeah, that is the fence that certainly wraps the pool and then encloses the entire backyard. Yes.
And connects the existing fence back to the garage.
It does. Yes.
And the reason that that doesn't work is because it bisects the side yard.
It does. The garage, we're not certain of if the properties had been sort of shifted from one owner to the other owners over time in this area. I know that some of the properties have sort of swapped back and forth. This garage is sort of an orphan building. It's not connected to the house by walkway or any means. And with the previous driveway that came in sort of paralleling that existing fence, which bisected the yard, I do question, was that once a property line? I don't know that for certain, but again, this garage is now obviously part of this main property. And the fact that the driveway and the fence were originally designed and allowed to be built sort of bisecting this property, it's become a hardship for this client.
Oh, wait a second. So the original driveway, which appears to align with the existing fence edge, which was relocated, and was that relocation required by anyone, or?
Again, the client was trying to get access to the garage and prove that connection. That is a current permit that is open right now.
Okay, so they moved the driveway to where it is on their own volition.
That is correct.
Okay, and so previously the driveway would have been right along, or is that right? Right along the existing fence?
Correct. If you want to go back to the existing condition, which is that aerial, I think it's Exhibit 1. There it is.
A1.
A1. You can clearly see that's where the driveway came right through. Mm-hmm.
And okay, there, I see it. And so that connected directly to the garage. Okay, and you've moved that to the right now. And so this is a self-created condition that you would like to, it sounds like the purpose of this is to remove a fence that runs through the side yard.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. And is that a second driveway in the closer to Golf House Road?
No, that's a construction access that they're, you know, for this work that we're permitted to do right now, temporary.
Okay. And Jamie, I think this is the second time you've come before us for this applicant for relief in the front yard setback within perhaps the last year. Is that right?
I think it's been more than a year, but this applicant has been before the board. And the last relief that the applicant had received was, I believe, to put this little bit of an addition on in this corner of the house.
Okay, and so is the driveway directly in front of the house? That was there before?
That was there before. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so are either of you aware of any additional front yard setback variances or other forms of relief that may be in the offing here in the near future?
No,
No.
we believe this is the last one. Yeah.
And okay, I'm still struggling a little bit with the hardship, but I mean, I understand what the goal here is. Okay, I don't have any other questions at this time. Oh, you know, actually, I take that back. Just one question. Chuck, you might be able to answer this.
Sure.
The queuing space between the gate and the road, how
Yeah.
much space is there before a car waiting to get through the gate would have, or how close to the road would they be?
25 feet, I believe, to the face of the pier. So it's about 27 to the face of the gate.
So
Generally, 25 is usually minimum, and that way you can get a whole truck and even a, a trailer, a small trailer behind it if you need it off the street. There'll be a call box 11 foot from the face of the gate on the driver's side.
11 feet from where?
From the face of the pier, away from the gate, 11 feet is typically what you have for
Right.
being able to pull up to it.
So 11 feet would mean that the driver's window would pull up to the call box,
Mhm.
and
You're
that
clear-
you believe that 11 feet of a 25-foot truck is in front of the driver's seat?
Well, you don't, yeah, it's more of a car or a pickup truck is what we normally figure, but yeah, you'd have 11 feet from the nose of the car to the driver's seat. And then of course, the remaining part of the car is behind you, but that still gives you over 15 feet of space to get clearly off the street for safety. It's generally standard at
And
25. Mhm.
Okay, and you haven't given any thought of insetting the piers a little bit further to make sure that a truck could be at the call box and not be on the road?
Again, normally even a panel truck or, an Amazon car can clearly get off the street at that dimension. We haven't had a problem with that. I mean, that's.
And what
again,
about where does the garbage truck stop?
they don't pull into this property though. So
They don't. Where does the applicant put their cans?
Right out by the other driveway entrance. in the
Okay.
Front courtyard.
All right, thank you. I don't have any other questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Ed McGarty?
Yes, thank you. Let me just clarify some things that I'm missing right now. The hedgerow,
Mhm.
that is existing, except for where you're going to put some new hedges where the old driveway was. So those aren't new.
They're actually there as well. We can look at the exhibit if you'd like.
The hedges go in the middle of the driveway?
No, the hedges, if you like, we can refer to the exhibit and you can see kind of what the planning looks like. Yeah.
And which exhibit should I be going to, Chuck?
It's the photographs of the site. Mhm. That one. So you can see clearly the old hedge and the fence.
It's exhibit A5.
Exhibit A5, yeah. Thank
Sorry,
you.
guys. Yep, view 1 shows the existing hedge with the fence on the outside of that hedge. And then right where the new hedge started is where the driveway was removed already and shifted to the west property line. And that continues all the way up to, you can see it in view, yep, here you go, view 2. And then view 8 shows it where it touches the neighbor's property.
Okay.
That's a view
So
from
what
the
you're
inside.
saying is that when you remove the old driveway, you put the more hedges in recently.
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that closed
That
off
makes
the
sense.
property. Mhm.
The next question I had is, I'm getting confused on the issue of the fence being relocated.
Mhm.
When you say relocated, it wasn't closer to Exeter Road before. The relocated fence is what?
The relocated fence is the purple section that goes sort of bisecting through the property right there.
Okay.
And so, by code to be able to move this, I'm not able to move that fence and I need the fence to wrap the pool for the safety. So the only option we have is where we're showing the red line, I'd have to put it on the orange line, which really, again, bisects the property in the other direction. And again, we can go back to the exhibit and I actually put ribbon up so you can see exactly where it would land in the middle of the property. So if you look at image number 5, so the line, the ribbon that's closest to us here is the orange line, and that's where I'd be required to put the fence. And we're asking for relief to put it where the white line is, which is closer to the back of the hedge.
It is okay where it is now. It meets the requirements though, right?
It does.
Okay. But that fence that's being removed is going to be replaced from the center of the lot. Has some of that was already in the front yard setback, so you're just moving it closer to the road. But is it going to be extended? How much further? How much additional fence will you need?
Well, actually, it's almost an exact swap. The distance from the orange going all the way back to the garage is virtually the same distance as we're going over. It's about 90 feet.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that a portion of that fence
Mhm.
is within code. So I'm talking just about the fence that's not within code.
It's
Chuck,
30.
I think he
Yeah,
was
what's that?
referring to
Yeah, I think it's 36 feet, Jamie. I have a hard time reading that, but it's whatever that
Yep,
distance is.
3610 is what's shown.
Yeah, so 3610 is in the space that we want to remove. And yes, it continues the other direction.
Okay. And then the piers that you're talking about, they were all within the right of way. So they were also, those have already been removed then?
Yeah, we removed the 2 piers that were part of the driveway that came through the center of the property.
Are they currently installed or are they sitting somewhere?
No, they were removed completely, destroyed, and we kept the stone. That was all.
Okay, so you're not relocating the piers, you're building new piers.
We're asking to build new piers, yeah.
Correct. I have no other questions.
Jessica?
Are you physically reusing the fence that you are removing?
We are asking to, yes.
Okay, so you'll be taking the pickets from this fence and relocating it.
That's correct. We have enough fence to get us all the way along the red to that first pier, and then we're going to buy the matching fence, the height of the neighbors on that little bit that's left on the other side.
So based on the testimony, the purpose for relocating the fence is to allow access to this portion of the yard in front of the garage, correct?
Yes, and to also still meet the pool enclosure requirement. So I need the gate. I need the gate to go with it, yeah.
Was any consideration given simply to adding a gate into the existing fence to allow access?
Yes, there has been options of looking at adding the gate, also looking at even putting the fence right where the orange line is shown. We looked at multiple options.
And what were the reasons that a gate wouldn't work out?
It was honestly just a matter of any modifications to this fence was actually non-compliance.
But if you had placed a new gate, let's say, beyond the front yard setback.
Yeah, there is a gate currently up against the garage. I mean,
That would allow access to that portion of the yard.
We have that right now up at the garage, yes, but
Okay.
that's in compliance.
Okay, so there is technically access through this fence to the garage.
You can walk to the garage, correct?
Okay. I don't have any other questions right now.
Okay, Jesse?
Hi, yes. My only questions that haven't already been asked are in regards to that garage. Is that garage used only for the storage of cars? And is it used for the owner's primary vehicles?
It's their only garage, yes.
Do they park their everyday cars in there, or do they use the front court?
Both. Both. They use, there's always a car in the front court, and there seems to always be a car coming and going out of the garage.
And does the garage have any other use, like a guest house function or anything of that sort?
They don't use it as a guest house, but there is interior space that is usable. I don't believe they're using it at this time.
Is are you aware of is there any plumbing or anything in that garage building?
I am not aware.
And so you're not aware if there's any plans to make this into say a guest house?
No, there is none.
And is there plans to create a path from the garage to the house? You mentioned in your testimony that there was not one. How do they usually, do they walk out through the lawn, or do they walk back out down the driveway?
They do walk out on the lawn. There's some conversation about modifications in the back on the tennis court. We have impervious coverage constraints as well. So before we just start adding additional walkways and pathways, we're trying to manage that as well.
Okay. And I believe the current occupant from the deed, it looks like they purchased the property sometime in 2018.
That is correct.
And the pool, just to be clear for the record, the pool was already there?
Yes, all the major structures, pool, tennis court, even the front parking court, all that was there.
So all of the existing non-conforming conditions were already present?
Correct.
At the time of purchase in 2018?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I don't have any other questions at this time.
And my questions have been asked. Any other questions? Bill Rhodes?
Well, let me just, to follow up on Jesse's question, the relocation of the driveway, when did that occur? Was that prior to this owner's acquisition?
No, it's during the owner's acquisition. Like I had said, it's something that is currently an active permit. It occurred in the last 12 months. But it's something that's currently being sort of finalized at this time. The permit is still active.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that it, Bill?
Yes.
Okay, Ed McGargy,
No other questions?
Jessica,
No other questions.
and Jesse, any other questions?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, Jamie?
I think that is basically our testimony in support of this application. And, there was one comment made as to whether this is a sort of a self-created hardship in the sense that, we have relocated that driveway and are now looking to kind of incorporate that detached garage as part of the overall lot. But again, the hardship is basically the configuration of the lot itself, the fact that it's very close. A lot of the improvements are very close and right at the front yard setback line. I think in a typical situation, you have homes that are set back a little bit further back, and you anticipate that the fence is put in front of the home. But here there are existing improvements that are, encroaching already within the front yard. And in a lot of ways, we are actually decreasing the nonconformity. The existing fencing that's to be maintained is actually closer to Exeter Road than that portion of the fence that we're looking to relocate. There is some length of fence that goes towards the garage, but again, is still within the front yard. The piers that we're relocating or rebuilding, they were shown on, I think, the permit plans that are pending to be relocated. So if you just go back to Exhibit A1, this is an area where a lot of the homes seem to be set back pretty far from the right of way. This neighbor here, which is immediately adjacent to the right on Exeter, I mean, they have a very large, I presume what functions as a side yard, but they actually have a fence that goes closer to Exeter as well. And we're just looking to kind of reconfigure that fence so it makes a little bit more sense for this property. And, that's the basis for our request that because of the wide frontage it has and the fact that so much of the improvement is so close to the street, we're asking for a little bit of a relief here.
Okay,
Jamie, can I just follow up on one statement you just made? I just want to make sure I heard this correctly, that in your view, you're reducing the nonconformity by putting additional fence inside the front yard setback?
In the sense that the existing fencing is closer, I believe, to the street than what we are proposing.
But the existing nonconformity is there, and what you're asking for is relief for more nonconformity that's just not as close to the right of way as the existing fence. And in your view, that's reducing the existing nonconformity?
I say in the sense that it doesn't get closer to the street, yes. And, as a practical matter, we are providing the hedge there. And I think you have an improved situation with removal of the piers and locating it further back. So in a sense, yeah, I think that we are decreasing the nonconformity there.
Okay, thank you.
all right. Any other questions from any of the board? Anything else, Jamie, before I call for public comment and close the record?
No, nothing further from me.
All right, and I know you want to move your exhibits, so we'll admit them,
Thank you.
so they're admitted. With that, I'll ask if there's anyone present on this Zoom meeting that received certified mail that wishes to comment. Anyone that received regular mail? Any other residents of Haverford Township? Kelly, did we receive any emails or comment?
We have not.
Okay, with that, we'll close the record on this case and the decision will be rendered either this evening or at our next regularly scheduled meeting on, anybody have the date? I don't have it in front of me.
May 20th.
May 20th.
On May 20th. That's it. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
All
we're
right.
good to leave, right?
What?
We're good to leave the meeting.
Yeah.
No, you have to stay. You have to stay, Jamie. Jamie, you have to stay and listen to all the other cases. Your witness can leave, but you have to stay.
Thank you.
And you're not allowed to bill for it either.
But
Good night.
Good night.
Sherry, if
Thank
you want to
you.
give me a call in the morning to see if there was a decision or to just let you know if it was continued, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good night.
You're right.
Good night.
Take care, Jamie. All right, our next case is Z21-15, Thomas and Amy Triple, owners of 1606 Colony Lane, Havertown, PA, DC folio number 2207-0029-100, who seek a variance from the provisions of section 18206C5A to construct a 7-foot by 32-foot front extension, of which 7 foot 22 inches will be covered porch and 7 foot by 10 inches will extend and enclose the garage, therefore encroaching into the required 30-foot front yard setback by 3 feet 6 inches. Property is zoned R4 and located in the 7th ward. So do we have Thomas and Amy with us?
Yes.
Oh, hello, Thomas.
Hello.
And you submitted some exhibits to the township in advance, to us in advance. Bill, I'll ask if you'll identify the exhibits for the record, just in the interest of expediting.
Sure, and first, Exhibit A2 is the deed. I have reviewed the deed and it does provide standing. Exhibit A1 is the variance application as well as the signed acknowledgement of the applicants. A2, as I indicated, is the deed. A3 is a letter from the applicant dated March 31, 2021 with a photo of the property. A4 is a plan of the property. It's a floor plan and plot plan prepared by Stephen with a V, Deeming, D-E-E-M-I-N-G, a registered architect. A5 is front elevation provided as well by Mr. Deeming. A6 are north and south side elevations, again prepared by Mr. Deeming. And A7 is an acknowledgement of the neighbors. I'm not going to read all the names, but the addresses that all indicated that they are in favor, or I shouldn't say in favor, they do not object to the variance are 1608 Colony Lane, 1615 Colony Lane, 1607 Colony Lane, 1609 Colony Lane. I believe, and this one's difficult to read, 1610 Colony Lane, 1605 Colony Lane, 1613 Colony Lane, 230 Mill Road, 1616 Colony Lane, and 1619 Colony Lane. And I do not see that there has been anyone who has indicated opposition to the application.
So, Thomas, did Mr. Malone accurately and adequately describe your exhibits?
Yes.
Okay, and is Amy your wife?
Yes. Yes.
Is she going to be testifying tonight as well, or just you?
It will be me. She probably will be if needed. And then we also have with us present here is Steve Deeming, the registered architect who prepared the plans for us.
Okay. Hello, Steve.
Hi, good evening.
So, Mr. Kane, I would suggest swearing everyone in with a word
Yeah.
of caution to the applicants. And it's quite common for husbands and wives to finish each other's sentences. Please try not to do that. Take your time. So especially in this Zoom world that we're living in, speak a little slowly and let each of the people who are testifying finish their sentences to make it easier for the court reporter.
Okay, so let's start. Ladies first. Amy, I see the edge of your face there. Presumably that's Amy. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Amy McDonald Triple, 1606 Colony Lane, Havertown, PA, 19083.
Okay, and Thomas, you next, please. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Sure, it's Thomas P. Triple, 1606 Colony Lane, Havertown, PA, 19083.
Okay, and Stephen, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and the capacity that you appear before the board this evening?
Yeah, Stephen H. Deeming, 2500 Hurst Terrace, Havertown, PA. I'm the architect of record for the triples.
Okay. Now that we've got all that administrative things, those administrative things out of the way, Thomas, since you're going to be the primary spokesperson, please tell us a little bit about what you would like to do and why.
So yes, so I'm going to pull up the exhibit because it might be easier to kind of explain and walk you through. So give me one second.
And that's good. And Thomas, you may have heard in the last case, that when you bounce around between exhibits, if you could refer to the exhibit number, so the record, if someone were looking through the record, they would know which exhibit to refer to. So,
Okay,
you know.
absolutely. So I'm going to start with exhibit A4,
Okay.
which is the plot plan and the aerial view. So what we're looking to do is we would like to add, I call it a 7 by 32 foot extension. So it's the width of the house, and we would like to come out 7 feet. 22 of the feet is this covered porch on the right-hand side here. I'm trying to circle if you can see the cursor. And then the other 7 feet, the other 10 feet coming out 7 feet is going to be enclosing, it's expanding our, bringing out our garage, our current garage area, and closing it in to form an office area. So we're seeking relief from section 182-206C5A, the 30-foot setback, because we're on a non-conforming lot. We are zoned for 6,000 square feet, and we only, our current lot size is only 5460. Likewise, we also have, I think it's marked in the plot plan, which is in this right-hand corner of A4. We likewise have 2 easements on our property, further squeezing our lot size. So we have a utility easement going across, electric utility going across the back. And then on our right side, we have it's a rain sewer easement on the right-hand side. So we're looking for 3 feet 6 inches in order to come out the 7 feet for the porch and garage area. So A5 gives you a picture of this is what it's going to look like from the front. It's going to be a solid roof right along the going completely across the existing structure. So it's going to be the same width as the home. A just covered porch, 2 pillars, and then like I said, it's going to come out bringing the garage out. We are going to actually use a garage door in the front to keep with the integrity of how the current home looks with a garage door there. And then that's A5. I'm sorry, I didn't give you that. So that's A5. And then A6 will gives you the view from the side. So this is showing the north side of what it's going to look like. As you can kind of see the porch roof coming out, and then the side of, and then this is going to be the side of the garage, the newly constructed extension.
Okay, so that gives us the what, and now because it's a variance, you need to have some sort of hardship or a problem that this will solve, or the reason. So please tell us the reason. I don't want to infer, but what I thought I heard you say was you need to construct an office, presumably, like many of us, you're working remotely and But I'll let you tell us. Go ahead.
Sure, exactly. So right. So we need the variance because right, we're on a like I mentioned, we're on a non-conforming lot. The reason why we are the reason why we're constructing this is yes, both my wife and I currently work at home, and we're at a quiet space to work is at a premium. So we were looking to develop an office space, and likewise, interior wise, currently it's also shifting a laundry room around that's currently goes into the kitchen, spinning that around and bringing it into the other side of the garage. So that is why we're seeking the extension for the office space. And
Okay.
the covered porch is for I kind of say quality of life. We like to spend a lot of time outdoors. Kids are young, run up and down the street all day. So looking to take advantage of a covered porch to sit under and keep an eye on the kids, relax.
And how old are your children?
12, 10, and 8.
Wow. God bless.
All girls. So
Oh my God.
yes, run me ragged.
I'm not saying anything in case my daughter's watching. Okay. So if you have nothing to add, I'll go to questions from the board. Do you have anything else you want to add, Thomas?
I do not think I have anything else to add.
Okay.
You would like to add something? She can speak.
Sorry, do you mind if I add something too?
No, go ahead, Amy.
So one of the other reasons why we wanted to put the covered porch on was for a second story egress from the bedrooms. Currently, when you look at the front of the house, we only have a very small portico over the front door, so that if there were an issue where we would need to, do an emergency out the front, having the roof there would give the kids and us too some way to help.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think she's referring to a case of an emergency.
Right.
We had at a prior house, and anyone with kids, we kind of formulating the fire escape plan. We had it to where at our prior home, we had a very much like a porch like that, and we developed like, okay, get out on, if it's in the second floor, get out onto the porch area there where it's safe. So that was another benefit of adding the porch is I guess a indirect benefit was having that as well available.
Okay. Well, with that, we'll go to the board. Jessica, or I'm sorry, Jesse, you're first. I'm going in reverse order to the last case. So Jesse.
But I always like going up to Jessica because she asks such good questions, but that's okay. I'll see if I can anticipate her questions this time. The covered porch, what kind of utilities would you be planning to provide out there? We tend to ask that question to all, and with the leading towards, whether you might plan to one day enclose that porch.
So there's no plans to ever enclose it. The only utilities we would have on that would be electric for, we're looking at putting like 3 ceiling lights, I'm sorry, and 3 ceiling lights and 1 receptacle is the extended electric on there.
That makes sense. And I had a question as far as I was very curious, and it's kind of an interesting thought, as the plan to do a garage door when it's actually not going to be a garage. And so you mentioned in your testimony that it was to keep the character of the fact that it already is a garage. Looking up and down your street, it's not uncommon for people to have done these kind of projects and turned that garage door into a window. So will the garage door presumably have windows in it, and will it also be a fixed garage door, permanently fixed?
Yeah, sorry. So the garage door, our other house had the same facade as what we would be looking to do here with the garage door. It would be non-operational, solely aesthetic. Instead of putting the siding that goes from the floor up to the second floor, and instead of putting like the bay window that a lot of the other houses have, at the front of our house gets a lot of sun. And so we didn't want to put full windows there because that would just add to the heat of the room. So what we were intending to do was have the garage door with just the the top windows at the top, and that would be the windows into the room, the amount of light that's coming into the room, just what you would have from a normal garage window.
And then, see if you could see it well on Exhibit A6, we would add a window, an actual like function window for ventilation on the that's the south side of the existing building. Yeah. So we'd have both. We have the little windows in the front for would lead through the light, and then we'd have this regular, I call it a regular window on the side.
And maybe a question for Mr. Deeming. Any concerns with the potential R value of, I assume it would be an insulated garage door, an insulated window unit?
It comes with it's 2-inch thick. It's a 2-inch thick door. It's a composite material on the outside. And then it's an insulated panel. It's an R9 value on the garage door. And then we're building a wall inside.
Okay.
We'll have R15 insulation in that. And there'll be a glazed storm panel that'll allow the light from that window in the garage door to shine into the room. It'll align with that. So you're going to have an door on that front wall, minimum.
So you actually are building a wall behind it.
Wall, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then what would be the base, the detail at the bottom?
It's well, that garage door is going to get down to grade, but what it leads into is the existing garage slab is going to be totally removed, and we're going to put in an insulated concrete slab. So you'll have 4 inches of EPS foam over crushed stone, and then you put the concrete slab, and then there'll be an electric radiant heat mat in that laundry area. And then you'll be able to float your floor over top of that, whatever material they choose. So you're going to have an R value of R20 plus in the concrete slab, R24 in the wall in the front, R16, 17 on the side walls.
Okay. Very good. Okay, I was just picturing you working behind a garage door. So thank you for illuminating that. And then also that would answer my follow-up question was going to be whether you ever plan to turn this back into a garage, but it sounds like very much not because there'll be a wall behind there. So
right.
I don't have any other questions, and I'll let my colleagues follow up. Thank you.
Jessica?
I have a couple questions about how you currently utilize your garage prior to the renovation. Did you tend to park your car in the garage?
No, so let me, it's probably difficult to see, when this gets hit. So our current garage, so we've bought this home in June of 19. The previous homeowners had, in expanding the kitchen, took like the back half of the garage. So our garage is currently 7 feet, and you can't park a vehicle in there. So right now, currently that's in there is a shelf and a old fridge. And to be honest, you can't fit much more than that. So it's kind of, we never parked a vehicle in there. To answer your question, yeah, we never parked a vehicle in there and would not be able to.
So I guess my only concern is that based on the zoning code, you're supposed to provide 2 off-street parking spaces for your residents that are at least 18 feet deep. And you obviously didn't have that prior since you couldn't use the garage technically, but you are exacerbating that condition by pushing the building out further and leaving only 30 feet to put 2 cars in the driveway. Do you typically park both your cars in the driveway?
Well, we go back and forth. Yeah, I mean, sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Right. So there's a spot, there's a spot on the street that we usually have because then we don't have to jostle the cars. We can fit 2 in the driveway now, but we often don't. We have 1 on the street and 1 in the driveway. One of the things that we had considered in the future was possibly expanding the driveway side by side to allow for 2 cars. We do have the we would have enough in our impervious coverage to do that. We just wanted to tackle 1 project at a time. But as I said, in our other home, we did have side by side. So that's definitely something that we would pursue in order to meet the requirement to have 2 off-street parking.
Is parking typically an issue on your street?
No,
Do you find, even in like this, once school is in session, where did you occupy the house when the high school was open fully?
right, we did. We would park a car on the street, kind of,
Well,
I guess, to passively aggressively keep some of the kids from getting in front of our house.
but yeah, but also like, we'll just say under normal conditions, they're in school, we're at work. So there wasn't, like, so typically there's not a lot of friction there, when schools, and now it's a little different. We're at home and and I think a little bit they are parking, it's like some's in session. So
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, we're like, we still get a spot on the street without an issue, but that's what, like Amy says, yeah, we try to make sure we can get a spot, close, because if it's during school hours, it might, but typical, there's no issue.
Okay. And then do any of your neighbors have similar porches on their houses?
Yes.
How close is the closest, let's say?
So our neighbor to our right, they have a porch. They don't have the garage bump out, but they just have a porch. I would say it's probably 6 to 8 feet wide.
Okay.
Next to them, they have a porch that's, I think, about, that's Joe's, his is probably 4 feet. Across the street from us, they have an 8-foot porch. And then when you go down the street, there's another house with an 8-foot porch. There's another house all the way at the end of the street who actually has the garage bump out and the porch. Now they, I think, have an 8-foot porch, and we're asking for a 7-foot porch. So there are a lot of houses on the street that have a similar configuration to what we're asking for. We only have to ask for the variance because our house sits up further end of the non-conforming lot.
Maybe, yeah, just to add like a quick inventory, we're all Colony, between Colony, Hampton, and Winton, which all have the same model home. I would say, I would actually put it at like maybe 50% of the homes have a front porch similar to what we're asking. If not, some of them are larger. I know sometimes they can do that because they're sitting further back. We were trying to be conservative, being conservative in what we're asking for, knowing that we're sitting a little bit up closer.
Okay. And I just want to confirm, will you be adding a gutter to the front of the roof?
Yes.
Yes.
And where will that drain?
So we're going to have that drained. So it's going to be on, not the driveway side, but the other side. So we're looking to drain it to the grass.
Okay. And I noticed you had a drainage easement between your houses. Do you get a lot of water in that area?
Not in the front of the house. In the back of the house where the there's an actual sewer drain in the back corner of the house, a grate. There's a significant amount of water that goes into that grate. But as far as up on the side of the house, we don't normally have a lot of water there.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, Ed McGargy?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have one question. Does your house have a basement?
Yes.
And that is used for anything?
Yeah, so currently that is a family room / den.
Okay, no other questions.
Okay, Bill Rhodes?
Yeah, so thank you. You had mentioned that you would, on the side of the house, you would add a ventilating or an operable window. Can you describe how the windows, let's say under the porch, how, and I'm assuming there'd be a door there, is that right?
Correct, yeah, I can. So this is Exhibit A5. So I know it's probably real light, but so yes,
Yeah,
the door,
okay.
I draw like a door here. Door here. We have an existing window here.
Okay.
So those would still be.
Okay, I got it. And so, and then presumably, would there be a window on the side of the garage that's extending along the porch?
No. You mean
No,
that's
okay.
facing the porch? No.
Yeah, okay.
It's just going to be on the outside.
Okay, and so you're going to this porch and addition will have essentially a shed roof that runs parallel to your existing roof, right?
Correct.
And will that tie in just below the windows? Is that the second floor windows?
Yes. Yeah, like again, so right. This is a little lost my character here. Oh, all right.
Yeah,
So,
it's very hard to see, right?
Yeah, I would say it's hard copy better, but like, yeah, so the window, I have the hard copy here. So sits literally like right here is, we have 3 windows across the front. So this would be, the idea is to tie it in like right below that window.
Mhm.
And then
Okay,
there's top.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Mrs. Triple.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just, yeah, so I was just
Oh,
saying
yeah,
that-
sorry, right, sorry. I can switch to exhibit, I believe it's
Now,
8.
now you're talking over each other, which Bill described creates a problem with keeping a clean record, so.
Sorry,
If
Steve.
if one's going to speak, the other has to stop. Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, Steve was reminding us that we had a photo in the exhibits. So we wanted to show you the photo and to kind of combination between this photo and that other drawing. The roof to the porch would go right under the second story windows.
Okay, and then the siding above your existing garage door, you would leave that, or would you then brick that in? What's the plan?
Roof covers it.
So the roof would cover that. You're talking about the siding beneath the window?
And that runs up the side of of that, you're right, of that left window.
Yeah, so that would all be covered by the roof that's going in, the proposed roof.
On the side of the windows.
No, not on the side of the windows, right?
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yes, no, the side of the windows, it would stay. Sorry, Bill, I misunderstood, yeah.
Okay, so you'll keep, what, the portion that's covered by the new shed roof is one thing, but everything above that, you were gonna leave alone.
Correct.
Okay, and then can I just ask a couple of questions? So you do have a single lane parking garage, or a parking lot, I'm sorry, driveway. How close from the edge of your driveway to the property line is that? Do you know?
Is this on here? I'm sorry, so how far from the,
Driveway or it's in the house?
You had talked that you might want to be widen your driveway. All right. I was just wondering, how close are you to the property line currently?
from the side property line?
Yeah.
That's 8 feet.
Okay. And then let's see, I guess the front door, which isn't being moved, that's about, what's that distance from your existing driveway?
See if I have that measurement on here.
I can go measure it right now.
It looks like.
I can go measure it right now if you want.
No, it's not,
I see.
that was more of a concept. That's
Yeah.
not.
I'm not looking for a hard exact number. I'm trying to get a relative sense of
Driveway
distance.
over to that door is another 5 feet.
So I'm sorry, so the driveway to the door is 5 feet.
5 feet, okay. And do you, from the proposed front edge of the new garage, fake garage door, to the closest edge of the sidewalk, not the edge of the road, but the closest edge of the sidewalk, do you have that distance that you could give us?
Would you have it from the edge of the new garage, right? The two
Right.
side.
What side?
The
Oh,
front
it's
side.
9 feet. You're looking for the width of the driveway?
No, he's looking for the length.
No,
from-
I'm wondering how much driveway length will you have between the edge of the sidewalk closest to the house currently and the front leading edge of the new addition?
Right now, we're looking at to the sidewalk.
to the edge of the sidewalk.
to the edge of the sidewalk. Looks like it's 24 feet.
24 feet?
That would be from the edge of the new addition to the closest edge of the sidewalk,
That's right.
Yes.
24. Okay. And then I guess I would ask Kelly, if I may, about, whether that 24-foot distance would require us to give any other relief for driveway parking.
Well, because it is an existing nonconformity and they're not able to meet those standards currently, I wouldn't say that they're decreasing the amount of off-street parking because they don't have more than 2 spaces now.
Right. So they're going from something like 31 feet to 24 feet, I guess.
Right.
That's at 28.
And code would require for 2 off-street end-to-end parking spots,
36.
36. So we're going from a 31 feet, which is 5 feet short of conforming, to now 24 feet, which would be 12 feet short of conforming.
And even stacked parking wouldn't actually be considered a conforming space, but would be better than nothing.
Yeah, right. Okay. So that they don't need any additional relief beyond what's already been asked in order to go forward with this?
That's correct. There's no need for any amendments.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Okay. And all that I had have been asked by my competent board members. So I have no questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Thomas or Amy or Stephen?
No.
Okay, then with that, I'll ask if there are any, if there's anyone present on this, at this meeting who received certified mail that wishes to testify in this case. Anyone present that received regular mail? Any other residents of Haverford Township? Okay, the exhibits are admitted. With that, we'll close the record on this case and the decision will be rendered either this evening or at our next regularly scheduled meeting on May 20th, 2021. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take 5 and then we'll do Joseph and Jean McCarthy's case. Let's take a 5-minute break. I need to hit the men's room.
Alive.
Okay, we'll resume the meeting of the Haverford Township Zoning Hearing Board of Thursday, May 6, 2021. Our next case is Z21-16, Joseph and Jean Marie McCarthy, owners of 425 Lawrence Road, Havertown, PA, DC folio number 2201-0070900, who seek a variance from the provisions of section 182-207C5A to construct an 8-foot by 16-foot covered front porch that will encroach into the required 30-foot front yard setback by 8 feet. Property is owned R5 and located in the 7th Ward. Hello, Joe and Jean.
Hi, everybody.
And you guys submitted some exhibits to the township, to us, prior to this hearing. I'm going to ask Bill Malone, as you heard that I did in the other cases. Billy, would you please identify the exhibits for the record?
Sure. A1 is the application and acknowledgement signed by the applicants. A2 is the deed. I have reviewed the deed and it does establish standing. A3 is a building permit application dated March 15, 2021. A4 is the plot plan. A5 is the building and impervious surface calculation worksheet. A6 is what's titled a proposal from Running Buck BUCK Builders LLC. A7 is a construction drawing with a floor plan and wall section. And A8 through A14 are acknowledgements signed by neighbors, none of which voiced opposition. Again, I'm just going to identify the addresses just for ease of the hearing. 416 Lawrence Road, 417 Lawrence Road, 424 Lawrence Road, 429 Lawrence Road, 428 Lawrence Road, 421 Lawrence Road, and 420 Lawrence Road. Again, none of those voiced opposition, and I've seen nothing else via email or other public comment in opposition or support of the application.
Okay. So as you guys heard, I start out by swearing you in. So ladies first, Jean Marie, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Jean Marie McCarthy, 425 Lawrence Road, Havertown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and Joe, now you, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your full name and address for the record, please?
Joseph F. McCarthy, 425 Lawrence Road, Havertown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and is one of you going to be the primary spokesperson, or?
I guess it'll be me.
Okay, and as you heard Bill, request of the prior applicant, please only one of you speak at a time. With that, I'll ask you to describe what you would like to do and why.
Well, basically, we just want to put a front porch in the house because we're having some issues with water coming into the front part of my basement. We've put a new roof on. We've did all the pointing, and you know, this is our last hope to finally stop this. We don't get it a lot, just when we get a driving rain. So we figured, okay, well, we'll put this on, and it's going to serve twofold. Me and my wife are both retiring. I retired, she's retiring in 22 months. 22 months, and we have grandkids, and we want to be able to sit outside. I got bad knees. She just had both her knees replaced at one time. So, yeah, you know, it's twofold. It's helping us with this moisture problem, and it's giving us a place to watch our grandkids.
Okay. Questions? Bill Rhodes.
Hi, Mr. and Ms. McCarthy. I just wanted to know, on this porch, are you planning to have any utilities like electric or water, or like a spigot or water lines?
No. We have a light that's on the side of the wall that's existing, so we're good with that. Like I say, this is a no frills, just a place to sit.
Okay, and it looks like you're planning a kind of a low angle shed roof over it to keep water out. Do you have any plans to screen it in or put any siding up?
No.
No, so it'd be just open on all sides, on all three sides?
Yes, sir.
And you said that, I guess by the drawings, or the drawings are, it shows that it's 8 feet, I guess. It would extend 8 feet to the outer edge of the front columns. Is that right? To the existing side of the house?
The columns are supposed to meet the end of the concrete, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. And I'm just trying to look at the so it's showing this is, you'd be 8 feet to the bottom edge of the collar ties, but it looks like maybe 8 feet to the front edge or to the rear edge of the columns.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And let's see. And this would be positioned so that it's 16 feet wide, but it would align with the existing side of the house?
Yes.
Okay. And is there a reason that you currently have a rear deck, right?
Yes.
And is that elevated because the ground slopes down in that area, or is that just close to grade?
It's close to grade. We wanted to meet the door. So, like I said, we were older and, you know, getting up and down steps got to be an issue. So, plus my father, who was elderly, was there, and there is a ton of reasons.
Okay. And is your rear yard, do you have a yard in the back?
Yep.
Okay. And was there any reason that you couldn't increase the rear patio? You obviously made a decision to put this in the front. Can you tell us a little bit about the decision making?
Well, to be honest with you, we had the deck put in when my son graduated high school, and we didn't want to go too crazy with it because we seen other neighbors, the way they had their decks, and we wanted just to stay kind of uniform. We didn't want a great big deck because it's maintenance at that point. We just wanted a deck that we can manage, you know, in our older years.
Right. Okay. I don't have any other questions at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed McGarty?
Ed, you're muted.
Yes, the question I have is how did you arrive at needing to have an 8-foot width front porch?
We have people that have porches on both sides. On our right-hand side, I just measured their decks. All their decks, the people across the street. So we're uniform with everybody in the neighborhood. That's the reason we come up with 8 feet.
No other questions?
Okay, Jesse.
Yes, so I have a question about how the roof line will meet. Will you have to remove any portion of the existing front of your house?
Yes, we have a little bump out right now. That bump out is going to go away, and it's going to meet straight across from where the A section is. So it's all going to be one continuous roof over top of the deck.
And is it fair to say then I think your testimony was that your plan is to match the neighbor when you're facing your house, your neighbor to the right, your plan is to match their porch almost exactly?
Yeah. That's exactly what when we bought the guy out, we wanted to do. So we're staying in line with everybody in the area. I don't want to get crazy.
And their house is is it fair to say their house would be a mirror of your house?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the water issues that you testified to, do you believe that they have something to do with this particular portion of the roof where you have the A-frame framing into the house and you've tried to remediate that before?
We put a new roof on. We did all the parging on the walls, and when we get a driving rain, we still get it. So we're trying to eliminate different things, and you know, after looking on, of course, YouTube and Facebook and all them other places, they kind of say, well, if all else fails, put a deck down, and they just have to gear it away from the house, and that would solve the problem. So we figured, well, if we're going to do that, we might as well just do an overhang, and we have a place to sit.
And the water in the basement is kind of under your front door area generally?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jessica.
Just wanted to clarify that the shingles on the porch that you're proposing are going to match what is on your existing roof.
Absolutely. They're brand new, so they better.
Yeah, they were just called out as architectural shingles, so I wasn't sure if you were doing something special.
Yeah, we've already got a hold of the contractor at Miller Roofing that put the roof on about 6 months ago. And they have the shingles in stock, and my contractor's aware of it too.
Okay, and I just want to confirm you'll be putting a gutter on this roof as well?
Absolutely.
And where will you be dumping the water that you collect?
Well, because we're going so close to the edge where the driveway is, that'll probably go in the driveway, but I'm putting 2 gutters on and the other one's going to be going in the grass.
Okay. And do you have any other gutters that currently empty onto the driveway?
Yes, I have one.
Okay. And do you find on your street that when it rains that the street gets particularly flooded?
No, because we're actually in a cul-de-sac and we're like on the pitch of the street. So no, not even the bottom of the street because the drainage is really good there.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Okay. And I have no questions. Any other questions? Bill Rhodes?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So on the existing small bump out that you have, that would be removed, but that small bump out is much less than 8 feet currently, right? It's only a couple feet.
It's probably 3 by 3. It's just a door and a couple of aluminum walls they put up prior to me moving in. No big deal. And a small roof.
And so, but the porch as proposed would extend roughly from the driveway to maybe the current, or would it go even further than your bump out?
No. It's going to go from the edge of the driveway to the bump out and that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Over.
Got it. And McGarty,
No other questions.
Jesse,
No other questions. Thank you.
and Jessica?
No other questions.
Okay. Joe or Jean Marie, is there anything else you'd like to add?
You know what I'm saying?
No. Oh,
Okay.
my entire life I've wanted a front porch, and now that I'm getting ready to retire, it would be a great thing to have. That's all I have to say.
Okay. And with that, I'll ask if there's anyone present that received certified mail that wishes to testify, anyone present that received regular mail, any other residents of Haverford Township. With that, we'll close the record on this case and the decision will be rendered either this evening or at our next regularly scheduled meeting on May 20th. And with that, presumably there will be questions for our solicitor. So we'll adjourn to executive session to ask those questions, and then we'll come back and do decisions. So Cal, if you could take us offline and into a private meeting room, please.
We're live.
Okay. We'll reconvene the meeting of the Haverford Township Zoning Hearing Board. We'll do the decisions now. With respect to case Z2114, Louis Capano, owner of 351 Exeter Road. Bill, are you prepared to vote?
I am.
Jessica, are you prepared to vote?
I am.
Jesse?
Yes, I am.
Ed?
Yes, sir.
And so am I. Bill, would you please take that decision?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, with respect to application Z21-14, I would vote to approve the requested variance or variances subject to the following conditions. The distance from the gate on the driveway to the right of way shall be no less than 18 feet. The gate shall only open inward into the property from the right of way. And the project shall be completed within 1 year of the date of this approval in accordance with the notes of testimony.
Okay. Jessica?
I agree.
Jesse?
I agree.
Ed?
I concur.
And so do I. That application is approved with those conditions, 5-0. The next one is case Z21-15, Thomas and Amy Triple, owners of 1606 Colony Lane. Jessica, are you prepared to vote?
I am.
Ed?
Yes, sir.
Jesse?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And so am I. Jessica, would you please take that decision?
Yes, I vote to approve the application with the following conditions. The front porch shall not be enclosed with the exception of the area in front of the former garage. The only utility will be electric. stormwater will be directed so as not to adversely impact neighboring properties, and the work will be completed within 1 year and in accordance to the notes of testimony.
Bill,
I concur.
Jesse,
I concur.
Ed?
I vote to deny.
Okay, I vote to approve. That application is approved with those conditions 4-1. The next decision, KZ 21-16, Joseph and Jean Marie McCarthy, owners of 425 Lawrence Road. Ed, are you prepared to vote?
Yes, sir.
Jesse,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Jessica, are you prepared to vote?
Yes.
And so am I. Jesse, would you please take this decision?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with respect to application Z 21-16, I would vote to grant the requested relief with the following conditions. The porch shall not be enclosed. Utilities shall be limited to electric only. Stormwater shall be managed so as not to adversely impact the neighboring properties. The project is to be completed within 1 year of this approval and in accordance with the notes of testimony.
Okay, Jessica,
I agree.
Ed,
I concur.
Bill,
I concur.
and so do I. That application is approved with those conditions 5-0. And if there are no other administrative matters we need to address or other matters, then we.
Yep. No, I didn't know if we had any minutes or anything that we had to.
We do not. The only minutes that are outstanding are the minutes from the April 29th hearing last week. Otherwise, all are completed. You should, at the next hearing, have minutes both from April 29 as well as May 6th.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, with that, unless there's anything else, going once, going twice, we're adjourned. Great to see you guys.
You
Stay
too.
safe. See you in 2 weeks.
Very
night.
good.
Thank you.
Night.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks.